Hey, Happy New Year. You know, one of the issues with society is that it breeds complacency or a sedentary lifestyle. And in fact, one of the goals of society is to create a sedentary lifestyle. Abundance leads to a certain level of tranquility, which leads to a certain level of sedentariness, where the things that you had to do to acquire this stuff to achieve a certain level of relaxation in your life isn't required of you anymore. So, for example, when you're first building something, when you're first creating something, that requires war, that requires effort, that requires output on your part to create that thing. Once you have that thing, it's already created, so you don't need to work as hard for it anymore. That is the foundation or the landscape for abundance, for success, for, well, not necessarily for success, for abundance, for society and how it operates. All of your physiological needs, in theory, are met. Humans, before you, how humans naturally are hunters and gatherers to a certain degree. So, how would you get your food pre civilization, pre people deciding to coalesce together and live in what we now know as cities? You would go sharpen your spear, and you would go out into the woods or by a lake somewhere, and you would hunt, and you would kill a fish, or you would gather berries, what have you. That's how you would provide for yourself in relation to you eating food. Now, in modern day societies, you just walk down to the store. The activity is the same. You're still engaging in a certain level of hunting and gathering, but the technique or the skill or what's required for you to hunt and gather has been reduced dramatically. As long as you have cash in your pocket, you can just go to any old store and you can hunt and gather at the store. Pick up what you want right there. So, that is one of the conveniences and the promises of the abundance of society. The issue with that and how this impacts your self actualization is that doesn't require any skills. All you have to do, especially depending on where you live, I'm in America. So, in America, for example, a lot of our main export is soft skills. Like, we're mostly service economy. So, a lot of what we do isn't the hard labor of going out and gathering or creating or doing so forth and the like. It's a lot of white collar working in an office, picking up a phone, hanging up a phone, clicking keys on a keyboard, so forth and the like. There are still people who do construction and different things like that. There are still farmers, but far above and beyond our greatest export is ideas, which come from us being more active in a sedentary lifestyle. That is not conducive to what the ethos of being a human is. Yes, all humans work, but it's in the creation of hard skills that you realize self actualization. Picking up and putting down a phone, figuring out how to effectively say one word versus how to effectively say another word, tone, inflection, intonation, all those things are wonderful, but those aren't hard skills. That's not a hammer, a needle. Oh snap, I created a chair. Oh snap, I created a table. That's not plowing, putting seeds, germination. Oh snap, look, trees have started growing and now they're fruiting and now I can harvest that fruit. Those are more so hard skills versus as to the aforementioned being more so soft skills. The way you feel as though you are contributing to society, the way as though you feel personally that you are making a meaningful impact in the world around you is generally through some type of hard skills. You have a specific thing that you're good at and you can execute on that thing effectively. Society kind of takes away the need for those type of things and that type of experience. What happens when there's a degradation and a diminishing of your ability to perform in that way and in that capacity is now all of a sudden you may not experience full self actualization because you don't have any developed skills. You can't do anything effectively. You can't do anything that will contribute to the greater group as a whole. And it's when you're part of the collective, when you feel as though you're part of the group, and the way you feel part of the group is by contributing. So when you feel as though you're part of the group and you feel as though you can contribute meaningfully to the group, that is where self actualization begins to be experienced in your life and in your self expression. And so, what happens in society is more often than not, we encourage disintegration. Not you and me specifically, but society, collective as a whole, encourages disintegration because there is no need for that hard skill development. And that's a byproduct of abundance. It's a good thing as a part of society, but it's also the plateau of society. So realistically, humans shouldn't have to struggle physiologically or for their needs of safety and belonging. Those should be things that come as part of being human. But the way life is, through a various host of means that I can't go over right now, we do struggle through meeting our physiological and safety needs. Again, that's not something that we should have to struggle with, but in this world and the way life works, we do. That inhibits you from creating and growing. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that inhibits you from achieving self actualization because you can't think beyond what am I going to eat today? How am I going to make sure that the roof is over my head? Is my job secured? So forth and the like. All of that keeps you stuck in the place that you should have never been in the first place. And so what happens is the need for hard skills, the need to be a part of a community, the need for self actualization doesn't go away. But in the context of a society where hard skills are diminished, and therefore, because hard skills are diminished, you don't feel as though you can effectively contribute to the group. So, therefore, you're not experiencing self actualization in and of yourself. What happens is corruption. What happens is disintegration. So, in that context, what that looks like is maladaptive behaviors. It looks like microaggressions. It looks like being toxic, narcissistic, so forth and the like. Because you still, as a human, you still need to be self-actualized. You still need to be integrated. You still need to feel as though you are contributing. That's part of what being human is all about. So what happens is there's this ideal you, who you would like to be. Then there's this real you, the image you, the actual you outside in the real world. And because you don't have any hard skills or you don't feel like you're effectively part of a group, that outside of you could be a bad person. And so what ends up happening is, as a byproduct of society and your inability to effectively develop yourself and achieve a certain level of self-actualization in a healthy way, you end up self-actualizing what is or what can be considered a bad person. And so actualize yourself, the course that I do, that I've created, as well as Life with Ken, my brand, all focuses on how to help you get past that unhealthy self-actualization and start actualizing meaning and purpose in your life in a healthy way. So as we kick off 2024, I just hope you have a wonderful year and really tap into ways to develop hard skills and to develop an identity and an aspect and an integration of yourself that is true to who you really are.